What's up, you guys? In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through how to price your woodworking projects. Let's dive in. All right, well, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, I'm your host, Zach Vaught. In this channel, this podcast is here to help you grow your woodworking or your handcrafted business, right? There's all kinds of places you can go to learn how to build things and learn the skill of woodworking, but we're here to help you with business principles. And so I want to talk through today how to price your woodworking projects, okay? So every beginner asks, how do I price this stuff? I don't know how to quote it. I don't know how to price it. I'm going to make this super straightforward for you, okay? So two big ideas that I want to teach you right out of the gate is that when it comes to margins, which is how much profit is left over after I've built something, a mistake that I see a lot of guys make is that they are spending around 50 to 60% in materials. What that means is if you're selling something for $1,000, you're spending $500 on materials or more. That's 50% of what you're selling it for. I would not recommend this because you're not going to have enough margin at the end of the project to reinvest back into your business to be able to pay yourself well and actually scale and grow your business. And that won't work at scale. If once you begin to take on employees and take on overhead and you have a shop and you have all these other things, a truck and a trailer and yada, 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 you can't afford your materials being 50% of what you're selling something for. So a good rule of thumb to encourage you with that you need to just keep in the back of your mind is that you shouldn't be spending any more than 30% on material costs. 30% on material costs. Back to that example of a $1,000 item. If I'm selling something for $1,000, I don't want to have any more than $300 in materials in that item, okay? Okay, second thing that I want to hammer on for just a second, labor costs. So right now, let's say you're a one-man crew, you're building everything. You don't really think about labor costs. You don't think about how long it takes you to build something, or you just build it until you don't have to build it anymore, and then you get it done and you start building the next thing, right? Well, again, that doesn't work at scale. Once you get more established and you start growing your business, you're going to have to bring on employees. You're going to have overhead. And with that, you're going to be paying those employees to do some of the work, which means that that money's not going to be staying in your household. It's going to be leaving your household. Well, if your employees are super inefficient, you're going to be losing money on the projects. So one thing that you need to make sure that you also adhere to is you don't want to spend any more than around 20% in labor. What does this mean? I don't want to spend more than 30% in material costs. I don't want to spend more than 20% in labor. So to build the actual thing between the materials and the labor, I don't want to be in a product for more than 50%. Then I have 50% margins before I have overhead or I pay myself anything, right? So what this would mean ultimately is if you were doing $10,000 a month inside of your business and you weren't building anything and you had an employee that was building everything for you, you would be out material costs and labor $5,000 and you would be profiting before any other overhead or mistakes or anything else. You'd be profiting $5,000 per month, okay? So when it comes to quoting and pricing your projects, the easiest way to do that I've found is to quote based off the material costs. The reason that we do that is because sometimes we don't know how long it's going to take us with labor costs. But if you're quoting something for the first time and you're trying to get a good idea to make sure that you don't lose money on the project, but you also don't overbid the project and lose that on the sale, what you want to do is you want to quote based on 30% material costs. So here's how you do that. Let's say that a customer reaches out to you and says, I want a table like this. She sends you a picture. I want a table like this, with this base, with this top, with this wood. You're going to go figure out how much do I have? How much materials do I have in that? So you're going to calculate board footage for your tabletop based on the price per board foot that you can get for that lumber. You need to add in some sandpaper. You need to add in some glue and some screws, some biscuits or dominoes, right? How much money am I going to have in that tabletop? And then you got to figure out the base. Okay, how much money am I going to have in that base? Let's say, again, for this example, just to keep it easy, we're going to have $300 in material costs for that table. What I'm going to do, this is the formula that I want you to remember, okay? Material costs divided by 0.3. Not times 0.3, divided by. So material costs, 300 in this example, divided by 0.3 gives me my price that I should sell it for. But let me also give you another caveat on this. This is the lowest price that you should sell it for. You can sell it for more than this, but you should not sell it for any less than this price because at that point you're going to be wandering into unprofitable territory. Now, if you can build it for 300, but you think you can sell it for 1,500 or 2,000, do it. But the $1,000, so 300 divided by 3 is 1,000. That $1,000 is the least amount of money that you can sell that project for and still be profitable. The second thing I want to give you on this when it comes to quoting and pricing your projects, if you know that you can sell it for 1,000 and still be profitable, don't initially price it at 1,000. Price it at 12 to 1,400. Why? Because people, especially in our industry, when they're working with smaller businesses on something like this, they like to negotiate, and we need to be a little bit flexible. Okay, so sometimes the price is the price, and sometimes that's fine. But if you're trying to get started, if you can make money at $1,000, price it at $1,350. And if they come back and say, hey, you know, $1,350 is a little bit outside of our budget. Hey, totally get it. What kind of budget did you have to work with? If they say $1,000, then come back and say, oh, hey, can you meet me at $1,200 or can you meet me at $1,150? Then they see that you've negotiated down a little bit. If you can get them to negotiate up, you agree to something. They feel like that you worked with them on the price. They feel good about the transaction and you were still profitable, right? So be sure when you're pricing your woodworking projects to have your material costs figured out. This is one of the biggest problems that I have seen. Guys that just kind of shoot from the hip of what they think something's going to cost. You need to have a good idea, you know, within $50 to $100 or $150 at most. I've seen guys that sometimes think, oh, I'm going to have $500 in it. Well, they have 1,000 in it, right? That's not good. We don't want to be pricing like that or quoting like that. We want to have a good idea what our material costs are going to be. Then we take that number, divide it by 0.3, and that number is going to be the lowest price that we should sell the project for. So this is the formula that I ran my entire business on, okay? If we were doing a new project or doing something that we had never done before, this is the formula that we use to get started. Now, once you start building the thing, you may find that, oh, I can build this super fast, or this is a really hard project that we have a ton of labor expenses. Then from that point on, you can change that quote moving forward. So like if I have a lot in labor costs, a lot more than I anticipated, well, then I can raise that price next time. But this is going to get you started. Make sure that you're not unprofitable unless you're just crazy slow from a labor standpoint. But this should help you get established and start giving out more quotes. And also, by the way, this will allow you to get quotes out faster. This is also super important. A lot of guys out there, it takes them 8 hours or 10 hours or 3 days to get a quote out. We don't want to do that. We want to get quotes out in minutes. We want to be able to have that conversation. What do you think about this quote? What are your thoughts on that? We want to get feedback. That's expensive. Oh, that's perfect. Awesome. Let me visit my husband about it. We want to be able to start working through that sales process and start closing the deal. Okay, so if this video was helpful for you, let me know in the comments below. If you have a pricing formula that has worked really well for you and you seem to be doing well, we'd love to hear it in the comments below. This is not a cookie cutter, everybody's got to do it this way. This is just what has worked for me and my business. If this was helpful, be sure to mash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you're trying to grow a woodworking or a handmade business, this is the channel for you. So be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get notified when we launch new videos. We launch 2 to 3 new videos every single week. Last thing, some resources for you guys. Totally free resource, my free ebook, the first link in the description below. Go check it out. Doesn't cost you anything, about 100 pages long, quick read, but it's really going to give you principles to start growing, okay? Second resource is the Handmade Hero Academy program. If you're a newbie, a beginner, trying to get your feet wet in the business side of things, be sure to check that out. It's going to give you some principles and some ideas that are really going to help you get launched. And if you sell one high ticket product, it's going to pay for itself, okay? After that is the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. This is the #1 program in this space to really help you scale and grow your woodworking business. There's more school groups and more communities than ever before around woodworking, but I am 1,000% confident that nobody is offering the level of support. No one is offering the level of results. Nobody is helping you scale like a strategic partner like we do inside of the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. We have case study after case study after case study after case study of guys that started and 4, 5, 6 months later, they're doing $20,000 to $30,000 a month every single month in their business. This will change your life in months. It can change your life. So if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to invest in your time and your energy and financially into scaling your business faster, be sure to check that out. With that being said, love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.